Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm OK Savage, and today I'm going to be walking you through the final part of me painting the artwork for my new song that's coming out. Now, this is the final part, as I just said, of a series, so if you've not watched the earlier parts in the series, go watch them now. I'll put a link in the description. So, last time we got the painting to the point where it was nearly done, and so this is quite a short video. I mean, it's also a short video because it's time-lapsed and edited, but we're going to watch it together now. So as you can see, the painting's at the point where it's getting there. It's pretty decent, and I'm going in, I'm adding some more detail to the hair. I put some sort of green tones in it because when I looked at it, it just looked a little bit, not bland, but there wasn't enough depth to it. And you know what I'm like. When in doubt with depth, add some more colour. It always helps. It always helps. Just highlights, shadows, everything. Everything has a colour. I've spoken about this in earlier parts of the series, but yeah, nothing's ever black and white. Funny thing, considering my autism report literally says I have black and white thinking. But anyway, moving on from that. So yeah, you can see the green bits that I've put in the hair. They really work quite well, I think, to give it that little bit more depth. Then I'm just working on the face now, adding a bit more detailing, shaping it a bit more. You can see I've got those really, really dark shadows around the eyes, and I really like those. I think they really make the eyes pop. One of my favourite things about painting faces in particular, even when they're nothing like a regular human face, you know, obviously this is some alien bird creature. I don't know why I'm pointing over here. Well, I do. My laptop's over here, and that's what I'm watching on. But in terms of where I'm gonna put the little box, probably over here. Anyway, yeah. Even when you're painting a face that's not humanoid in particular, as long as it's got a kind of face-ish shape and two eyes, it always feels a bit like you're doing makeup, which is really fun and interesting. You know, you sort of trying to make those eyes pop. And by contrast, I think that is the reason that I quite enjoy doing people's makeup for them, is because it feels like painting. You can see now I've moved on to the background, and I just wanted a bit more going on with the big colourful shapes. So I'm really, really layering and texturing these bits in the front to make them quite watery. I know we spoke in previous videos in this series about how I wanted various natural elements combining with the spacey elements. So that's why we've got this sort of watery section in front of the kind of nebulous cloud section in front of the deep space kind of background. And I'm really happy with how that came out. As you can see, I'm really getting in there with my hands. I was using a bit of a cloth for the last bit. This is what I'm doing there with my fingers, is a little neat trick for if you're ever doing stars or any small shiny points of light, is do the dot, smudge it with your finger, like to the point where you're basically smudging it off. The little glow that it leaves behind is your nice little glow. Then you redo the dot in the centre of it, and you've got a very easy, nice little highlight. It's the equivalent of if you were doing a digital picture, you'd copy the layer, put it behind it, and do a Gaussian blur on it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I've only ever read the word. But it's the physical equivalent of doing that, which is how I think about it, because I learned to do digital art before I learned to do painting. I was going to say before I learned to do traditional art. I mean, technically I was drawing and stuff before I did digital art, because I was drawing when I was a kid. But I definitely learned to do digital art before I learned to do any sort of painting techniques or anything. Half of my portfolio that I got into college with was digital. And then I'm going in, adding some more highlights and shadows on this cape, just because it was looking a little bit flat, and I don't want it to be shiny or anything. I know it looks shiny right now, that's because the paint is wet. But I don't want it to look shiny or anything, but I do want it to have kind of shape and folds and textures in there, just to give it a bit of visual interest. We don't want any parts of the image looking too flat. Don't want any parts where you go, oh, that's drab, my eye's going to skip over that. I really want this to be full to the brim with, oh, there's so much for your eye to bounce about and look at. That's sort of what I'm aiming for with this. And then I know we talked about adding a glow inside of the cape, but I decided instead that I wanted it to be more like a void. So that's ended up being a really big, deep shadow in there instead. And I think that actually makes the cape pop a little bit more. Going in and adding some more detailing on the neck just to really bring out the shapes, adding some highlights, some shadows, a little bit of colour to it, because I think it lost a bit of its colour with the last lot of highlights and shadows, because I was adding in white and black. I'd kind of desaturated the colour that I put on there, so I put some more colour in just to make it pop. And again, going over these hair bits just to bring them out and doing a little signature, because it's done. It's done. I've finished the image. Ah, look at that. So you can see I've put a picture up here of what it looked like when I photographed it originally. That was a photograph that I took of it when it was unvarnished. If you want to see what it looks like varnished, look at this. See, this is why I say always varnish your paintings, because compare this to what you saw before and you can see the varnish just brings everything out. It makes the colours pop, it makes the dark bits darker. It's just really nice. I stand by giving paintings a good varnishing, and I'm really happy with how this came out. That being said, I did actually use the unvarnished photo of it to make the artwork for the song, which I will put on screen now, and I'm assuming that Editing Me has done that and you are now looking at it. So you can see I've just kind of put some text on there, cropped it into a square because album art and everything, and there you go. You've now seen start to finish how I go about making a piece of artwork to go along with a piece of my music. Maybe at some point I'll show you from start to finish how I make a piece of music, but that might be a trickier video to make. Hope you enjoyed this. The song comes out on Friday the 13th, so yeah, if you want to see if you want to hear what inspired that piece of artwork, go have a listen to it. Thanks again for watching. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers. You make my life 100 times better. Have a lovely day. Bye.